Hi there, Braymore. How are you doing? Getting started pretty soon. Whatever happened to Doom 3? Should be interesting. That was misspelled. But, yeah, this is it. So. Coming soon. Alright. It's going to be starting pretty soon. About 5 minutes, I'm going to be going all the way online, just doing some last little preparations for when this live stream starts. We're going to be talking about Doom 3. All right. That's a perfect way to spend your time. All right, live stream's gonna be starting pretty soon. About 2 minutes now. All right. Alucard's YouTube channel, previously Adrian Tepes here, and this is another episode of Whatever Happened to the Game. So today we're going to be talking about Doom 3 and the technological innovations that happened when this game was released, especially the new engine that they had at the time, more than 20 years ago at this point. 2005 is when they released Resurrection of Evil, and 2004 during the summers when the original base game of Doom 3 was released. So, to get started, we're going to talk about some gaming news. So, gaming news will go over here. So, this is the new talk. It's the main topic you've heard before now, but it is the Steam machine. So, this isn't the first time. Yes, welcome. That they have had the Steam console working to try and get their niche in the console market, but they're doing it again. And their main idea here is that the Xbox, rather, is not selling that many consoles. So Steam is there. They already have a reputation for selling on PC, and that's where it is right now, more or less. They have not released an official price. They pledge that it'll be under $1,000. But as of now, it's not certain. They have no official idea of what it's going to cost, the way that Xbox or PlayStation have with their next generation. Welcome.
Hello, hello. It's good to see you again.
Yes, it's good to see you too. So more or less, yeah, this is Steam Machine, the newest attempt by Steam to have their own console. It's not the first. They obviously have the Steam Deck, which is portable, and they have done previous Steam consoles. This one is a small cube, a little under 1 foot, 1 foot in customary measurements on each side.
It kind of looks like a PC unit if you look at it a little bit closely, because if you they show a little bit of a demonstration on the trailer that you can use either as a game console, that how you used to play, or you can even use it as a PC unit that can also work on it. That, I mean, like Discord, for example, or any other stuff that was that's on the Windows.
Yeah,
And basically you can play like, I don't know. I don't even know what in the if this thing uses an Nvidia or something like that, but I think it should use an Nvidia because games requires for kind of like a graphics card.
they definitely
That's
do. Its base operating system is Steam OS or Steam operating system. It could install Windows. At least that's what Valve has said so far.
hmm
Um, they've had previous Steam consoles going back at least 10 years, but they just back then it didn't quite catch up to what Xbox and PlayStation were selling. As of right now, though, Xbox aren't selling that many console units.
Yes, that's so. That is true. Also, I'm still trying to figure out about this device. What does it use when people want to like to install the SSD card? I mean, can we use like the regular SSD, or do we have to buy a micro SSD?
Oh, it might just be that it takes its own SSD card, but hopefully, it just takes an SSD card that works on other machines. Um, I can see Valve as having it be compatible with other SSD cards as a way of trying to do bait and switch with the customers, so they can say, "Hey, look, you can use your Windows machine. What works with your Windows machine on this?"
Right.
Uh,
I mean, I don't know, because at the beginning, from what I saw in the video, it looks awesome. I say that it's worth you. I say it's worth it since people cannot afford like a PC unit, to buy the PC, buy the unit, buy the monitor, keyboard, and other stuff like that. Basically, you can just get this device and use your own Steam account that you already have, because you don't have to purchase the games anymore. But those who are new, well,
right. You just have to make purchases on this machine.
exactly. Either
I
on
mean,
with
you can make purchases on your own phone now. So
Yeah, that's also another thing. I mean, you got two options. Either you do it on the PC or on your phone, or now the fourth option with this device, that if that does include their own Steam store. But I think it does, because Sony with their PlayStation consoles, PlayStation 3, 4, and 5 have their own PlayStation store. Xbox 360, Xbox One series also have their own Xbox store. The Nintendo Switch, need I say it more?
right, right. Um, with Nintendo though, it only goes back so far. I mean, you could play the games you already purchased on the 3DS, but you cannot buy new ones. You have to
And
go to Switch at this point
you have to go to the Switch at this point, because
to
there's
not
no
buy
other
it.
way.
Right,
And not to mention that there are a few games that you can play on your Nintendo Switch 2 console that you already played on the one. But
right.
I think the downside is that it may cost a little extra.
Yeah, and of course they're doing the gimmicks, predictably doing the gimmicks where they have a new Switch 2 version of games that were on Switch 1.
Yeah, which that really kind of not a good advertisement, if you ask me. I mean, we already saw a few games that we already played from our own devices. I mean, let's take for example Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, for example.
Sure. Mhm.
The game was launched like in the 2023, and it was available for all platforms. It was available for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. And the game is working perfectly fine. Now, 2 years later, since this Nintendo Switch 2 arrives, they decided, let's add this game to our Nintendo Switch console. What is the catch? What is the difference between the devices that we already play, and you're putting it for who knows how much price for us to play on Nintendo Switch 2? Because there's no difference. Okay, maybe small portion of graphics, maybe, but that doesn't count. And also the story, the gameplay, no changes at all. It's basically the same.
Yeah. Welcome, Abelio.
Hey, I'm sorry about being late.
You're fine. We were just a bit eager to get on the Steam machine and pros and cons of it. So far, it's not the first time Valve did this with a console. They've been doing it for at least a decade. But this time, Valve is hoping to capitalize on Microsoft selling fewer Xbox consoles. per their own words.
Yeah, I've heard things are goofy. Also, hello, Finn. Continue. Sorry.
Hello, Albello. It's good to meet you. So yeah, this might be differences between the games that we already played from our previous devices, and now they're importing it to the Nintendo Switch too. It makes no difference.
Right.
It really makes no difference to me.
Well, they're selling it for collectors. You and I aren't really collectors, but some people are like, I want this special edition of a game that costs more.
Yeah, but the downside is, okay, you may be a collector, but you're gonna get the downside because let's be honest, Nintendo Switch 2 console or even the first one don't have the best graphics. I mean, take Mortal Kombat 1 for example, that was launched on Nintendo Switch under the first Nintendo Switch console. It looked horrible on that console. Graphics, the graphics were terrible. The pixelated on the characters, no.
Yeah, Nintendo does that on purpose. They're intentionally making a cheaper console so that each console sold for them is a net profit. Xbox and eventually PlayStation have done it so that, yes, we have more higher performing consoles, but it costs us more. And for Xbox, they've always leaned on selling games to make up for the loss they have selling each Xbox console.
Then we have our agreement here that what Nintendo was doing is not fun. But like I said, that's my personal opinion. So I say we go back to Steam. I'm more interested, to be fair, on this machine. I'm really interested on these controllers that they are selling because
it's the Steam controller that we've had for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it looks interesting. It's the first time that I'm seeing a Steam controller. But my question is, I'm looking at the picture right now, and I see two cases between left and right. Do you think it works on 4 batteries or something like that?
I'm not sure if those are touchpads, because they could be touchpads. Usually the battery's in the back of the controller. Like, for instance, I have my PS4 thing. I open the back to get the batteries in or out.
Yeah,
but so I'm thinking that maybe since this is a PlayStation controller, it's 2 of these kinds of touchpads where I can manually, in the PlayStation, I take my finger on this pad to essentially use a mouse cursor function.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I could be mistaken as well. I'm not 100% sure myself.
I mean, I don't know.
These things are wireless. I mean, wow. Okay, and they did show, if I'm not mistaken, a special port for you to recharge it, and it says that once it's done recharging, you're good to go. But my question is, I mean, I'm pretty sure on the PS4 controller, when you plug it in for charge, you can still play it even though it's charging. And
you can unplug it.
My question is, does this thing has the same role, or will it backfire like on the Nintendo Switch 2 controller? Because people who were playing with the Nintendo Switch controller and they still have it plugged in for them to have it charged, they would play it for a while. But then after it's done charging, they cannot play it with the thing plugged in. They have to. You are forced to unplug it, because you can push the turn on button all you want. It won't do anything good until you unplug the cable from your controller, and then you can turn it on and play it.
Yes, because the problem is the software conflicts with the connection by the cable and the Bluetooth. It doesn't favor doing both at the same time.
Well, my hope is that from the bottom of my heart that none of us will be experience this kind of behavior on the Steam machine. I don't know. I'm just saying, because I'm just trying to look out. That's all.
Oh yeah, no, it's a thought. I mean, because I realized it right when you mentioned it. It's just that with Nintendo Switch controllers, it treats the plug-in with the cable as a connection, and then it conflicts with the Bluetooth controller, which is the default.
Yeah. like I said, anything is possible, but I don't know. Maybe I'm jumping way too much ahead, my opinion. But like I said, it never hurts to be careful.
Never heard. Oh, of course not. Always got to think ahead.
I wish it had more USB slots so you could sit down and have like 4 players, because it just looks like an upgraded. It just looks like an upgraded GameCube.
Yeah, but GameCube could be up to 4. But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I think what they anticipate in the environment that we're living in is they anticipate with gaming that it's going to be big online world
yeah,
internet play over in the same room.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. The same thing because, uh, I mean, these things are still wireless. I mean, you can have like up to 4 controllers if you like, and if you can't play games online co-op, up to let's say 4 people, for example, right? You
Yeah,
just then invite them over here to your house and have all your controllers ready, and then you guys can play. Because technology now these days now they are based on Bluetooth on wireless devices.
yeah.
Let's be
Shadow, I'm fine with corded. I just as it goes, it's just initially they didn't have a long battery life, Shadow Master. Now it's a couple of hours at the PlayStation controller, more than I would do in one sitting. So it generally isn't a problem anymore. But when they originally did it, it could be in need of recharging before your live stream was even done if you did, like, say, a 3-hour one.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm not big fans of wireless controllers either because you need to like be like very close to even to your own device and hopefully to have a good connection so you can play it perfectly or something like that. I mean, my Xbox controller is wired. It's not
Right.
wireless, wired. So I've got no issues whatsoever, but even when I hear people complaining that wireless controls are delay inputs and stuff like that, dude, it's not just wireless controller. It's also wire that has delay inputs, and I have the proof on my channel that I went through this kind of bullshit.
Yeah, more or less. Now we're ready. This is just an update. So these videos have taken off more than I expected. Anniversary for Curse of Darkness. I have new channels because when your channel gets bigger, it's more accountable for things like copyrighted material. So I just did one for music and one for horror movie clips from now on. I'm keeping the old ones on my original channel, but I've branched it off a little bit. But my disclaimer as usual, Doom 3 is available for PC on GOG or Steam. GOG has done a great job at making older versions of games so they can release on newer operating systems. So thank you, GOG. And it's on pretty much every console store right now.
The question is, which Doom 3 is available on GOG? The OG Doom 3 or the Redux?
BFG, both versions are.
BFG, yeah, that was the one.
As a separate sale. So the one I'm using here is the original Doom 3 in the footage I'm going to be showing. But they do have both. They have both the original and the BFG edition on either GOG or Steam.
I know on Steam had them both. I mean, I own both Doom 3 and the BFG edition as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, they have all versions, but I'm just letting them know because it's available on these if anyone wonders. So, there's a road to Doom 3. It began with Wolfenstein 3D after Commander Keen, and then they had the original Dooms, and they went along with Quake for a little bit to experiment with the id Tech engines, and then they went back to Doom 3, beginning with a proposal by John Carmack to experiment with the upcoming id Tech 4 engine, and they were going to make another Doom that way. So there was quite some time between Doom and Doom 2 and the expansion Final Doom, and then they finally went to Doom 3 to test new technologies in terms of graphics and audio. So,
what a jump forward it was.
Oh, yeah. It's when Doom actually became 3D. And it's funny because I actually have part of this one where they showed early test footage by Carmack on Doom 3 at the Apple Exposition in Tokyo, Japan.
NVIDIA and Apple are going to make a major announcement here today in Tokyo. And that major announcement is that we are announcing the next generation of graphics processors from NVIDIA that is a major industry first, and that is the GeForce 3. The GeForce 3 is the most advanced graphics chip ever. This thing's amazing. It's got 57 million transistors, and internally, for specialized graphics computations, can get up to 76 gigaflops. This thing is amazing, and it is going to be available first on the Mac. We've been working very closely with NVIDIA to make sure that our stuff and their stuff works very well together, and we've developed a great relationship with them. And
So I'm going to skip ahead real quick.
Soft shadows. GeForce 3's programmable geometry pipeline and hardware is able to do realistic and believable characters. You actually can do that the lamps have personality. And the opportunity here is that cinematic, high-quality, move-style rendering can now be done in real time, interactively on the Mac. And we're very happy to have this on the Mac.
Yeah, if you don't get this, this is rendering this in real time. This is not an animation loop. This is real time.
Every object like we used to do. I mean, things that we all wanted to see, like, you know, every light casts its own highlight.
Yeah, they were.
Just the way we would expect things to behave.
It was part of what Apple was doing for their Cube series of computers.
You know, bringing out so much detail, projecting lights onto things, you know, circular highlights on a per pixel basis, just wonderful things for games.
And it's funny how we don't actually need processors to be psychotically bigger than this. Like, we actually don't. Like, we don't need.
Sure.
We don't need to push graphics to such extraordinary lengths.
Right.
This game still holds up graphically, I think.
I mean, the big thing that it did is there's elements of what you use to make something appear 3D. Shadow is one of the big ones. And before that, you just had pre-shaded areas such as Doom or most of the other early 90s FPS games had. They didn't really have actual shadows. They just had areas where it's pre-rendered darker. And that's just, yeah. What you're saying?
Me?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So what happened was Steve Jobs, who became the CEO of Apple, well, he became the CEO of Apple at the start. They voted him off. Then they voted him back in late 97. But while he was out of being the CEO at Apple, he started Pixar.
Yeah, I didn't know that Pixar started Apple, or Apple made Pixar. That's funny.
Me
Yeah,
neither. I always thought Pixar was just the iconic for Disney movies like Toy Story.
Oh, it was. It basically is the initial CEO of Apple Computer was voted out by the board. Then they voted him back in because sales for Apple computers dropped so bad during the 90s that they almost quit. The other thing that kept Apple from being dead was they made the iPhone. So yeah, when Steve Jobs was kicked out of Apple, he helped make Pixar.
Wow. They had to feel like a bunch of schmucks. It's like, we don't need Steve Jobs. He's not important. Oh, look, Toy Story. we might need him back.
We might need him back.
Yeah. So the big things we're going to take a look at and go into concept with is what Doom 3 did. So the first part that id Tech 4 did was they attempted to do surround sound in a video game. If any of you are familiar with what surround sound is.
It's basically like kind of when you go to the cinema and you hear a major loud noise when you're watching a movie from multi speakers.
Yes. The idea is to try to simulate the position where something is in a game or a movie using multiple speakers as to where it would be if you were inside the movie or inside the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So it isn't perfect. It's pretty buggy in Doom 3, but a little less, maybe a little less so in BFG Edition. But it's meant for you to hear if you have a headset or if you have speakers on, if something is to the right of you, to the left of you, or behind you. So to try and immerse you in the game a little bit. So it was a great thing for the game because even though it was a departure from the run and gun for Doom 1 and Doom 2, but it helped with other horror games, and it was taxing on the software and the hardware. And then there was sound shader. So I have a little diagram here where you can see, hey, max distance, minimum distance, volume. So with sound shaders, it's more of a way to say, okay, this is close to you or it's far away from you based on the volume that it gives off. Now, obviously, sounds from the player are constant because they're always at minimum distance. They're internal to the player, but something if an imp's coming at you, it gets louder as it approaches. So. So this is just from the Doom 3, and I recorded it to try and go into some of the stuff that it has. Obviously, as I look down, your player doesn't cast a shadow in the game, but he does in the cutscenes, which is kind of funny.
Welcome to Mars. First time? You can just leave your bag there. I'll have it sent up your...
Yeah, I always did wonder about that.
I mean, they were doing it to conserve processing because this was, at the time of release, the data processing for doing these shadows on, say, the PDA or the characters pushed processors at the time a lot.
Possibly they were just focusing much more on the cutscenes to make the characters look realistic, including the shadows. But during the gameplay footage, when you move around, it does not show much of a detail.
Right, for your character, but it does do it enough that if you get experience at this game, you can tell there's an ambush coming. You can see shadows for, say, imps or other monsters before you see them because they'd be cast on the walls before they come around the corner.
Well, you'll be having a flashlight, no doubt.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the original flashlight mechanic was such that, you know, you can have the flashlight and a gun, but not at the same time. But they don't quite have the grab a ledge like they do in Quake titles before this, as I just showed.
No, unfortunately, it doesn't. It's like an old video of another streamer who was trying to do the jump crouch on Half-Life, or I think it was another Doom game, something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, Shadow Master, it was flawed, but for a good extent, it actually works. You can use sounds to notice something's coming before you actually see it. Hey, Alex, how are you doing?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, you can do it in the BFG edition, but I'm playing the base game right here.
BFG is one thing, but the original game is different.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, the gameplay and other stuff could be a difference in the graphics, but the story is kind of basically the same.
Yeah, it is. It has the one thing. It has the one added on DLC in BFG, Lost Mission.
Right.
Yeah, I always did prefer the Doom 3 base game because the flashlight changes the overall experience significantly. If you just have it on your gun at all times, like obviously it's the logical thing to do, but it's part of like the game is designed around it, so I'm fine with this.
The game helped me develop the habit where I switch weapons because it's often faster to just switch a weapon and keep shooting than to just reload the one you have.
Mm-hmm.
And the flashlight is part of that, where you just have to switch the flashlight to the gun really quick. I mean, I'll go back to this in a little bit. I'm just back to the main presentation, but yeah, as an example here, when the guy gets closer to you, the volume goes up, and they save data processing by making new sounds and having the sound drop off when you go to the next room to be replaced by new sounds.
Right.
But this is an early case of sound shading when previously the sound is pretty much constant in older shooting games, like the earlier Quake ones.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's distant, they're close, they're distant, the sound is about the same volume. But here they actually work on changing the volume based on distance, unless it's internal to the player, which it's minimum distance and it's constant. So, and by the way, these max distance and min distance is what you get if you go into the code of the game and you're trying to modify it. That's where I got the terms from.
Right.
Oops, where did I get? Oh, surround sound. Okay. So the shadows it's pretty simple, but the shadows are stencil shadows where it just does a simple copy of what the thing is. Like it traces just the shape of it and it's all dark. Like that guy right here. It's just a stencil copy of the guy. And they obviously save with that by, say, making a lot of them disappear after they die.
Mm.
Got to save on as many resources as possible. So I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
This lagged on the GeForce 3, which it was originally designed for.
Well, this game was the crisis of its time. Like no one, like trying to get a computer that could actually operate this thing was difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was difficult back then.
This is back when you could get it cheap. If you got the Xbox, you got the cheaper machine to run this on.
Right. I'll be right back in a few minutes.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I did appreciate how they were like, yeah, everything is super dark. How do we fix this? Just make it so that all of the light is, like all of the objects have some sort of light that reveals where it is. Like eyes in the dark was a fantastic choice, but armor has to glow because you don't know where the hell it is otherwise. Same thing with health kits and ammo.
Right. I mean, it's still pretty primitive on the bump map, but the shadow part is just that was the groundbreaking part. The shadow and the surround sound and sound shaders.
Oh, sure. My buddy Echo, he tried playing this for a moment, and he's an absolute coward, which is hilarious. So he tried to play this, and he was telling me how he he got scared shitless at one point, and I was like, I know exactly where you got scared because I know this game so well. I was like, let me guess. It wasn't even the demons. It was the guy. It was the guy talking to you from behind the stairs, and he's like, "Yep." I was like, "Why are you even here?" You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I also really liked the Oh, you didn't save the dude. I also really like how I really liked how organic the experience was in the game, because they don't really, there's no, like, this was before the time of objective markers.
Right.
So it's like, hey, here's a code to be able to unlock this locker, and it's like, where's the locker? I don't know. It's like, yeah, great. You have to go look for it. Like, enjoy,
yeah,
you know?
The most you got were these tiny subtitles on the bottom of the screen telling you what area you're entering. And that that's pretty brief. Huh. It's really brief, actually.
Mm-hmm. I always enjoyed Doom 3. I never, like, see, like, this here, like, crawling underneath to go and find these items, this is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's so funny because everyone, you know, praises organic exploration in games now, and it's like, yeah, it was always a good design method. Like, like, why did we ever concern ourselves with everything has to be on the path?
Right. But the thing was that this is, for a lot of people, it didn't feel, with the way you're confined for most of the game, and that it didn't feel like the massive run and gun shooting arenas you had in the original 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and, well, the one series that stopped making new ones, as far as I know, was Half-Life. Because Half-Life 2 was the other one that had some shadow work to it, and 2004.
Yeah, but definitely not to the extent Doom 3 would do.
Right. But, you know, yeah, that was the crazy part, is that you should have had, I wish I could record what the headset did, because in that moment where I was under attack, I heard that guy coming from my left, so I could look left and shoot at him.
Mm-hmm. I also really like the small detail of the when you shoot these enemies, they just kind of like, they like slump over, and they're slow to pick themselves back up. Like, you hit them and it takes them a moment to like straighten out and stand up. I don't know, like, it's a small detail that a lot of zombie movies just tend to ignore, where something gets shot and it just keeps moving as though nothing really happened. But here, you pop one of them with like your shotgun or something, and the zombie like crumples over in the direction it got shot, like it was twitching, and then it takes a second for it to readjust itself. I always really appreciated that design in the zombies.
Yeah.
Whether it was intentional or not.
Right. Sometimes you gotta brave the flames, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's part of what makes the game so liked, is the technical boundaries it pushed back then, and now it's, you know, not that new. But the main part was the shadows and the sound. And I'm not even doing it justice at this point, because it doesn't quite record the surround sound when I record my screen.
Hey, Zero, how you doing, buddy?
I mean, if you really wanted to run this on the top performance settings, graphics-wise, you had to go and buy like a $2,000 PC at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, PC prices have not kept up with inflation. Or they haven't gone with the way inflation costs go. But
Yeah.
back then, a $2,000 PC is something where it's just like, you better be using that for just about everything. Work, game, unless you're filthy rich.
Look how you kind of panic shot, just like, blam! Wow, crap, he's not there.
Yeah. I like that part. That's the worst part, is that combination thing. If I don't get it earlier, I can't get it at all.
Oh.
But that's part of the replay of this thing, is it like, oh, I could have next time try it earlier, before, when you were on your way down the first time, before it turned to shit. But yeah, Shadow, you had to get the really expensive PCs at the time to actually run this on high quality. Nowadays, weak PCs will run it well, weak, for today's standards.
Yeah, it's crazy how small this game is by comparison to, because it's only several gigs, isn't it?
Yeah, we're at 3 or 4 gigabytes.
Yeah, like Breath of the Wild is like 3 or 4 times the size.
Yeah. But then again, this thing only went as high as 720p at max. And 720p at that time meant you had to have really good processing power on your PC. Normally, by default, it's 480.
Which is so goofy, because like PCs have always been capable of, 1920 by 1080, like higher resolutions, and they just never really pushed towards it so early.
Yeah. But yeah. Nowadays, 4K is not as big of a deal.
Depends on certain point of view.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't bother with 4K because my eyes don't see much of a difference past 1080.
True. To be fair, none of the games that we used to play, we don't see much of a major difference nowadays. Especially when it comes to football.
Yeah. But, I mean, for football or soccer, it's a worldwide thing. So people want to play soccer video games, too.
Yeah, but
internationally.
But the thing is, you don't see much of a difference in the gameplays. That's the problem. Then it's the same thing. The only difference you see is the list of the players who are playing.
Yeah, I mean, Battlefield hasn't changed much past the earlier games, but it's they can sell it based on okay, this is a different scenario, or originally it was okay, this is Vietnam, this is World War II, and so on.
Right.
I think Battlefield could be a future thing, a future review topic. Yeah, it is the poor person's graphics today. So yeah, that's where the test footage ended. But so features of Doom 3 were heavily taxing on PCs at the time. The original Doom default resolution was 800 by 600. The frame rate was designed to be 30 frames per second, but only the most powerful PCs at the time came close to 30 FPS.
Man, remember when 30 FPS was like the big that was the most we could squeeze out of anything.
Yeah, 20 years ago that was peak. Nowadays 60 FPS is more of the standard.
It's 60 FPS isn't even the standard anymore, I would say. I think people are saying it has to be higher.
Well, yeah. I mean, is it because when you go higher, the main idea when you're getting so high in FPS is that you want to be able to do a smooth, slow motion replay. You know, for your what do the highlights? Oh, come on, guys, I'm losing it. What do you call it when you have segments of your gameplay saved?
Clips.
Clips.
Replay,
That's it.
clips.
Yes, replay clips. Thank you. I'm sorry, I blanked out right there.
I say a highlight. I thought highlight was sufficient.
Yeah, but no. Like in order to run it at 30 FPS, you need to get the GeForce 5 and GeForce 6 to run it at 30 FPS at the time. 20 years basic. 10 years later, a basic, inexpensive. Well, at the cost, you didn't really have to, but in order, if you wanted to run it at the ideal graphics, you needed a really expensive PC to do it. $2,000.
Yeah, the only guy in the area that had, well, there were like two guys in the area that my brother knew who had computers that could run it, and my brother was one of them. So but like a buddy of his would occasionally come over just so he could try and play Doom 3 because like no one's PCs could handle it at the time.
I can play Doom 3 when it came out. I mean, my family computer was it was mainly for us to do our homework on, like type out and maybe do some video editing, but it wouldn't be able to handle games at the time it came out.
Yeah.
It definitely wouldn't handle Doom 3. I only started doing Doom 3 when I was playing on a PC that was released in 2010.
It's a few years later.
Yeah. 2 years before the BFG edition in 2012. So here's how well this game sold. 760,000 in the USA alone in its first year of release. So 700,000 is the total amount that Fallout 1 sold in its first year worldwide. This is just North America. 200,000 in the UK, and worldwide after the end of the second year, it had sold 3.5 million copies.
Really?
Yes.
I thought it did crack. Oh wait, no, that was first year. Okay, so yeah.
And Xbox has not reported their numbers. They just said Microsoft said that it was a success for the Xbox console.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they said. So we don't know what the Xbox numbers were and how much they would add to the sales.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm sure the graphical capability was actually kind of a factor in why it maybe didn't sell as high as it could have.
It was still the highest sales for an individual Doom game when it was released. Now, obviously, 2016 Eternal and so 2016 Eternal sold way more, but at the time this was released, this is big for id Software.
Yeah, the numbers like that have never really. I don't know. I don't really worry or concern myself so much with the way like sales numbers are as they grow over the years, because like the populations are going to get bigger, more people are going to get into gaming. Same thing with movies. It's like movies are going to move more money today than they did back then. Same way games are going to do the same thing.
Sure. I mean, I understand context. You know, I mean, the fact that you had a Legend of Zelda selling several million back in the 80s, that was big for that time. I mean, it's nothing huge. Like for an NES game in the 80s, that's big. And hundreds of thousands on a PC game during this time, that's very good. I mean, sure, you had Metal Gear Solid, but 7 million, but
And
that was
StarCraft and Warcraft.
right. But hundreds of thousands, if you had a decent budget for making this game, that's actually profitable. Unlike Star Citizen, hello, the game that they had a budget of 500 million on. Like,
Oh.
what the heck? I mean, I don't think we have Hollywood movies that cost 500 million. How did Star Citizen cost that much?
Because
Depends
they had
what
to get all those details. Got to make sure that the underside of a toilet is immaculate.
You know, I could do that. I'd have to research it quite a bit, Shadow. You know, taking a look at what you'd have to do to custom build a PC. I last did that for my 2012 machine in terms of having a custom built PC, but life changed. I don't really custom build mine anymore. I could do it if I really tried. Life is busy, but I could do it.
Yeah, things used to be real simple back, DOS and early 90s, and then MechWarrior 2 came out, and that's when we needed graphics cards.
Yeah. If you wanted to buy it at the time, but at this point, there's such a huge back catalog that you don't necessarily have to. I'm not even buying new games at this point because I'm finding all the ones I somehow got, either received or bought for cheap and just haven't played yet. Or haven't finished. Like, I haven't finished the Resurrection of Evil on Doom 3 yet, and I'm going to go try and do that.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't finish it yet.
Huh.
I got it for cheap on Steam because because that's one of the deals Steam does, is that sometimes they'll give you away a remaster if you have the original game that came before it. Obviously to get you interested in buying more games. But with Steam, I have all these games I haven't finished or I haven't played because I just got caught up in the gimmick of, they gave me something really cheap. I bought it, but I haven't tried playing it because I got distracted by something else.
So, highest selling Doom game. That's actually kind of crazy to me.
Back then, that's actually pretty good. It's when you had these combined hybrid markets, as it were, where you sell on both PC and console, that some of these games sold more. But there weren't as many.
Is the number here only looking at the recent games at the time, or is that comparing it to the first Doom game as well?
So it's at the time of release. It was the highest selling.
Okay. That makes more sense. I was like, there's no way it outsold the original Doom, right?
Well, it did at the time of release. I'm not sure if they did a count because they've done all these re-releases of 1 and 2. They even have Doom 1 and 2 on Steam right now. So,
yeah, because Doom.
No, this is only the first 2 years after it was released. That's it.
Gotcha. Because like Doom 1 caused problems at work. Everyone was playing Doom. Everyone stopped working.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, do you know about those stories?
Oh, I've heard there was, there was at least a story of a game people were playing at my office place I went to after I graduated. My first place I worked at for accounting. People were distracted by a PC game. Later on, as years passed, I went to other workplaces. It was more mobile phones that took over as workplace distraction.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, in 93 and 94 when Doom came out, so many people got a hold of Doom that everyone in office buildings were playing the game. So it actually stalled production on a lot of in a lot of companies across the country. So a lot of companies had to install rules of like, if you're playing this game, we're going to fire you. Like,
Yeah, it happened a number of times in the 90s. There
yeah,
were
it
not
was
just
great.
Doom, but other PC games like Snood, Connect 3. I'm not sure why Solitaire is never banned, but that was my kind of distraction when I'd take a few minutes off of my programming project I was doing at some time at school. I'd just stop, play a solitaire game, maybe complete it, maybe shut it off after a few minutes. But I can see why Doom could be worse because you can get solitaire usually doesn't take that long to finish. But
yeah, no, entire business days would be lost because people were playing Doom.
I believe it.
Yeah, they even had a joke. Where was it? It was in Psych where Sean walks in and I always forget the black guy's name, but he's like actually gaming, and Sean walks in and Sean's like, "Oh, did you think you could hide this from me? Your fingers are over the WASD keys." Like,
sounds like something they'd have on Psych. I missed some episodes of that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Psych. I could be wrong.
Oh, I know. I mean, I know a number of shows like Big Bang Theory poked fun of people playing games when they should be working. But yeah, there's been over the years, starting in the 90s, there's been trends of people being distracted. There's even been a number of universities that at one point banned YouTube because they felt people were too distracted on videos to do their work. I mean, just about everything has been banned. And Doom was one of those earlier cases where they said, hey, you can't be doing this during the work time. So, thank you, everyone, for stopping by on the podcast. I'll have it on the Discord, both the link to get into this studio and the link to watch it on the Discord as well. But coming up, we're going to talk about whatever happened to Castlevania 64 and whatever happened to Deus Ex. Nice. But next week, it's holiday over here in North America, or at least in the USA. So Thanksgiving, I'll have the Doom episodes, the Doom 1 and 2 and Doom 3 together in one collection for that to just premiere while we're off on our holiday. So no live stream next Thursday, but after that in early December, we'll resume it. So should be good.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for stopping by. Alba and Altrafin, thanks for stopping by. It's been a great stream.
Yep, it's been great. And anytime you want to do this, you just let us know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So everyone, same time, same channel will be premiere. Then we'll go back to doing more game reviews.
I'll be continuing Doom tomorrow.